Hey everybody, this is Peter Palmiotti, and welcome to The Void, Part 2, Making of a Pinup on Two Inks. And if you didn't already know, the Kickstarter is still live for just one more hour. So if you happen to catch this, then go for it. So if you remember last time, okay, so I did a part one, then I did Studio Synergy 49, so that was essentially part 1.5, um, in which I threw down a little bit of inks, um, to which I'm going to be tightening it up a heck of a lot. But what you haven't seen is me working out the hands a lot more, so they're much, much better. And I worked on the face of Manny, and much happier with it. Um, he doesn't. don't, he looks a little less Asian, but he's Asian American. Uh, but I'm just gonna go with it, and it is what it is. So what I'm gonna do today is um, throw down some inks. Why is this so bent? Oh no! Gosh darn it! Uh, I guess I got interrupted last time. You can't really tell, but that's solidified um, ink on my tip, so that's not good. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. It's a little better. And also, um, just get a random piece of paper to put under my hand so I don't smudge my own pencils. All right. Yeah. So I should have had this. Technically speaking, should have had this pinup done. But it's been a crazy month. If you've been following along, um, yeah, nobody's currently watching, so uh, just kind of doing this on the spur. So yeah, it's been a crazy month. Um, but just trying to do my best to keep on top of things. and hasn't been that easy of a thing to do. And what's going to be developing is me entering 100 days of making comics. So, talk about challenges. If you don't know what 100 days of making comics is, it's taking 30 minutes a day to work on your own private, create your own projects for 100 days. And you can blog about it. You can just go to the group on Facebook and tell us what you worked on each day, or you can vlog about it. And yeah, obviously, like, it's not obvious, but most of the ones I follow are video, and it's usually a lot of fun. Um, I've been thinking a little bit about how I'm going to approach 100, my 100 days this time around. Um, yeah, okay. And yeah, I'm probably going to do a lot of speed drawing. Um, Probably the first batch of days will be me working on some inks for various books I'm working on or should be working on, and that's really the whole thing. It's like I got all these projects I want to do, and I put stuff aside. So it's time to get back on the horse. So what I'm doing here is just giving things an edge first. Just blocking out the shape. So once I get that handled, then I can figure out what's solid black and sort of blackouts, do some blacks and start building off of my lines and how I want to really take things. Uh, do, do, do. All right, so yeah. So I was thinking about how I want to sort of format my videos. If you got a preference, what would you like to see? But I think I'm gonna keep them somewhat short. Um, and I say somewhat because I'm gonna be adding a lot of different things to the videos, which you'll understand coming up. Uh, but I hope it will be fun and I try to be informative. So, let's see. For instance, just naturally drawing hands um, off the top of my head uh, is really challenging. So I actually seeked out some reference in order to really do these hands justice. Now, because my pencils aren't tight, um, um, really leaving decisions on line weight open. What I'm going to do is block out the lines, block out some blacks, um, erase, then go in and really working with a pencil and just really map out exactly how I want to do detail. Now, pretty much his face and chest are there. I'm going to add, I'm going to think a little bit more about where I want lines to be spreading and feathering. If I want to do any cross hatching or just single feathered lines. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with his face. And the rest is just sort of like what I said in the first video. It's sort of like the astral plane in Doctor Strange or Negative Zone of Fantastic Four. It's just supposed to be a crazy kind of space area. I haven't read the book. I actually pledged to my friend's campaign. And while, I mentioned doing a pinup, and he was really excited that I didn't ask for a copy because I really prefer, if it's going to be printed and I already ordered it, I want to sit down with a printed copy in my hand. So this is just my sort of very loose interpretation. Apologies for the AC going off in the background. I actually turned it way up, so it's Kentucky. It's humid. So yeah, well, while these hands aren't perfect per se, they are a lot better than they were. And I want to mention my biggest supporter throughout the last, I don't know, 6 years? No, uh, 3 or 4 years is a fellow artist by the name of Kevin Phillips. I posted the first video to my patrons, and he mentioned the fact that Manny's nose, this character, was a little big, so I shortened his nose because Kevin does have a better eye for that stuff, and I have a tendency to do big noses. Maybe it has something to do with me being Italian. Maybe it's innuendo for something else. I'm not sure. But in the end, like I said, I'm much happier with the face the way it is now. So, and I know the hands aren't perfect, but I should have. I hope you don't hear my stomach. Um, yeah, I'm much happier with the face. So I guess what I'm gonna do is, yeah, block out his figure a little bit, his neck and shoulders and whatnot. Then go in and really focus on his face today. I'm thinking I'll make this a 3-part thing. So the third video will actually be one I record, because it's just going to be a lot of me filling in black, doing stars, and maybe some special effects. So I'll touch on all aspects of that. Maybe film a little here and there of my stomach, um, of working on various elements in the background. So who do we got in chat? Jonathan Richter. How are the cats doing? The cats are good. Welcome, Jonathan. Let's see. I got one cat outside, Clea, who's becoming an outdoor cat. Something I really don't want her to be. But it is freaking summer and hot out here. So, and plus I have a gigantic lawn out front. So there's always danger of having your cats outside, but it's relatively tame out there. So all the cats are happy. I got 2 inside here. One is actually going to go to a new home. It was a stray here, but I did a Facebook fundraiser, so I'll be getting him to his new home probably next week. He'll be very happy about that. He's just a lovable cat who I call Pop Pop. And my little one is on my bed or in the bedroom window sleeping. So yeah, I want to mention down is still a work in progress. Um, I got the cover image, which I'll be inking next. And, I think, I don't know, above and beyond our immediate plans, we're pretty much putting together promotional stuff for Down, and it being creator owned. Um, it's a wait and see. You got people interested in it. Yeah, Jonathan says he's got two cats and he's terrified of letting them outside. I never let them out. Um, I would love. My place is way too small, and my cats become a huge pain in my ass when they want to escape. Um, but I am looking to rent a home and get out of this small apartment. So once that happens, even if I have to buy a backyard fence, if whatever I'm renting doesn't have one, I want some sort of backyard space for the cats to run around in without fear of them getting, you know, beyond that. I know fences are expensive, especially ones that hold cats, but it's got to be done. Uh, so yeah, super stoked about Down. Um, I heard a clip of we're doing a theme song for it. And it's sort of in the making, but it blew my mind. It's freaking awesome. Um, I got some other things in the works. Essentially, we're going to be showing off uh, artwork of the team together. So Thomas, my inks, I got a colorist, Sean Surface, who's working on that now. I posted a page one inks on my Instagram if you haven't already seen. Uh, yeah, that took me a little while. It's an incredibly busy page. And while I'm happy with it, I know I could do even better over his work. It's always an adjustment working with a new penciler. But Thomas' work is pretty cool. So this is what I do. I spin the page around. I'm a spinner. I've been watching a lot of Art T Bear on YouTube. Just type in Art T Bear and you can find him. But he's a extremely friendly guy and just super talented. Um, and he's a spinner too, so I don't feel I don't feel so bad. All right, Jonathan, take care. Go do some drawing. If you don't know Jonathan Rector, he's been doing a lot of now I'm gonna forget the name of it. Sort of cutesy versions of Marvel characters and some other characters. Really, really nice stuff. Yeah, pencils, inks. and computer colors it, and they're freaking adorable. I think he's making prints out of them. So, but yeah, it's like, I've watched and listened to so many YouTubers over the years. You know, last 4 or 5 especially, and a lot of them can keep the paper stationary and do all the art, and it's totally, that to me is totally foreign. It's not how I work. So I always felt a little, not guilty, um, just like, I could do it. I could do better. I do kind of love like watching people draw, and um, when it's stationary, you can actually see what's going on. You can get the gist here. So, like what I said before, is I'm sort of just loosely mapping out the black areas. Then, um, because I'm not super tight penciler, you know, my goal is to do a lot more, not only just like finished illustrations, like something like this, but get into, doing tons of comic pages on my projects, especially with D100's 100 Days of Making Comics, um, to where I can do more finished type pencils. And that's not to say that I'll ever be, like, say, as tight as Jim Cavieray, who, really, most of my Marvel DC work was with him. Even had a couple of issues of a book through Image. Not my only Image work, but it's still barely scratched the surface of getting into Image. um, but obviously, like, the Aquaman movie is coming up, and there is there is rumors that a lot of the issues I worked on will be put into trade finally, which is freaking awesome. So, I don't have any of the books I did back then, so it would be nice to have a trade of all that stuff collected. So that'll be fun. And yes, for your information, I am looking forward to Aquaman. Ever since Entourage did a fake Aquaman film, I've been looking forward to something real, like a real Aquaman movie. And it looks like a lot of fun. I love Jason Momoa. You know, I know him from a bunch of things, but obviously I loved him on Games of Thrones, and the whole cast looks to be really good. James Wan is the director, and I believe he's from the like the horror movies. Uh, I watch horror movies. I'm not. It's not necessarily my go-to. Um, More sci-fi, fantasy, love stories, comedies. But uh, uh, part of it is who you hang out with, and frankly, biggest movie buff in town. Her favorite thing is zombie movies and horror movies. So I've been seeing a lot more. But yeah, super excited for Aquaman movie to come out. You know, it's essentially Christmas, so it's a ways away considering it's summer. Right. Yeah, so I am doing a little hair detail. A little bit just to get the ball rolling on that. Nothing too fancy. You know, I guess, during the last Studio Synergy where I hang out with, is my AC again, where I hang out with other artists and talk about art and the business of art and comics. Uh, Zabethi, YouTuber, she's currently doing her 100 days. Mentioned like she would like to be faster, and I am by no means fast artist. I don't mind for the most part, except when it comes to um, you know, like last minute, you have to get it done and hand it in. Um, I hate those moments, those days of, yeah, I'm just sweating, like going at my pace, and um, my mind is racing because in like, okay, what could I cut? What, don't go too crazy on detail. Just block it out and just get it done. Yeah. Don't love those kind of days, but sometimes it's got to be done like that. All right, so this is shaping up. Yeah. Yeah, since he's Asian American, I'm gonna assume that. Well, not assume. I. It's like if you look at the couple of pictures they have of the character, his hair is mostly black. It's probably colored dark blue. So I want to do a chunk of it. All right, it's black. So I am really looking forward to getting into my 100 days of making Has comics. It's essentially working on all my projects across the board, but focusing on a few. And I know I have a ton of pages to ink, and I really want to get back into a steady flow of inking every day. I want to up my skills again. You know, I don't feel rusty per se, but I know I'm not as sharp as I once was. Come on, little straight cat hair. You cat hair demon. So yeah, I want to sharpen my skills again. So getting soft. not not working for the big professionals. All right. Yeah. So this kind of reminds me of, I'm gonna forget the artist's name. Uh, but he did a book called Frey, which was a spin-off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, written by the creator. Um, Carl B something. Anyway, it was very like drawn really well, but his shadows were very simplistic, and really liked his work. And you know, it's kind of like my approach. So I'm leaving a lot open, even if it doesn't necessarily look like it. Hey everyone, welcome. So this is a pinup. If you don't know, you just joining me for a Kickstarter that's ending. Actually, if it doesn't totally ruin my internet, let me go check the link. All right, 27 minutes left. Chuck Pinot is a writer creator. Um, Not sure what he's doing. He was hospitalized days ago, so doctor said he couldn't couldn't celebrate with liquor. Um, so I think he's doing another healthy choice. I think he's smoking a cigar. Could be wrong. So this is a pinup I told him I would do. Whether he uses it for something with this Kickstarter, which he could still do, or he includes it as part of the next issue, to which he already posted a cover art that looked really dynamite for issue 2. Always working ahead of himself, that Chuck. He's a writer, but also an editor, working on a bunch of books. And that's what I want to do. Work on my own creations. So this is really it's my attempt to get something I've drawn outside of where people would normally find my work. And I wanna do a lot more of that. Um, Actually, I'm gonna get pencils to a cover that I'm gonna be inking for another book, but I'll save that information for another time. But yeah, just need more exposure. I feel like I mostly feel myself holding back. I have no problem talking with creators and working on stuff all day, but really, beyond just posting it on my own sites and YouTube and whatnot, I really got to get my art out in other places, different, different audiences than the ones that always follow me. Best way to do that is collaboration. So try to do more of that. Mhm. So yeah, right now I'm just blocking the essentials in, and later what I'll do is erase a lot of the pencil work, the foundation I put in, and see how it looks, and block it out further. Since I mentioned earlier, like not super tight penciler, so sort of do a combination of pencil, ink, pencil, ink, pencil, ink until can get my pencils much tighter. Yeah, I could. I mean, I've worked on plenty of pencilers who weren't super tight, and I feel like that is a skill I built up over the years of being able to work over loose pencils. Um, but I really want to work more with pencils. Along the way, so trying to do a combo. Yeah, since there's not a super deadline on this. I mean, it's frankly completely open, but um, if I get this done now, it'll be something else Chuck could post about. Yeah, and I know how hellish Kickstarters could be. I never had one myself, but I was part of a couple. It's just all your time is taken up. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Yeah, it's easy to surprise yourself. You just put a little effort into drawing the thing out and making improvements, making improvements, making improvements, adding a little shadow drama, uh, and it all comes together eventually. All right. So yeah, it's funny, but I've seen so many uh, professional like pencilers and inkers, and how things sort of take on this sort of shape. I wish I could sit down and draw this out like it looks right now, but it takes me fiddling with it. Um, like I said, well, I'll tighten up over time. Yeah, I got so many of my own creations. Neon Eden, which I'm focusing my Patreon page on, uh, which that's a comic strip, so that's going to be a different kind of challenge artistically. Nothing big. Everything's going to be tiny in small detail, kind of, sort of. Um, but I know I want to do bright eyes with a lot of brushwork. Bright Eyes was inspired by Razor, which is a 90s bad girl creation of Everett Hartsoe that is actually going to be made into a movie now. But I always had an idea that, I would love to do like that sort of character, but do it my way. And did a couple pages. I got a lot more to do, but I think some of my best work is going to go on that. I mean, as far as me fully penciling and inking, although it won't be material for everyone. I'm not sure how drastic I'm going to get on it, but it will be violence. It will be nudity. Essentially, it's like, even though a lot of what I love comic wise is, comics from anywhere from the 60s to the 90s, even beyond that, but mostly focused between the 60s and 90s kind of take on comic book superheroes, and even other things like heavy metal and independent comics of that time. Uh, I do want to express myself in story and visually. That's a little more adult oriented. So the first issue of Retro will have a little flash of nudity. It's essentially I want to make the comics I want to read. So that's where I'm going. And there goes my AC. I don't think it's as bad today, but man, it's just been humid, humid, humid. So I hope everybody watching is drawing as well, getting some of their own work done. I'm liking how this is turning out. Um, so I'm gonna get my friend Sean Surface to color this pinup, which I'm really excited about. You know, I am trying to do a lot more of everything myself. You know, if you follow my Instagram, it's me playing around with computer coloring, and that's essentially it. It's like, you know, I try to have a full day of work, but on the side, I do stuff for Instagram, and I also post it on Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. Even DeviantArt, I'm trying to trying to make it back onto that platform. Man, it's like in the old days, you know, a couple of years back, I used to post stuff there, and automatically 100 people would see your new piece. Now I'm lucky if I get a dozen. So not really getting it's not about the numbers, but um, it's like, is it really worth my effort to be posting today? Yeah, it's like, well, is it really worth my effort to post, you know, videos on YouTube? Because I feel like every inch is a tremendous struggle to get, you know, small group of people more to see your work. Um, I mean, I think it's worth it, but you know, it's like I'm not utterly delusional on what my reach is and what my level of talent is and how entertaining I am. You know, I just try to do better each and every time. And feel free to tell me I'm not, or have your own opinion. Put it in the chat or put it in the comment section if you're watching this afterwards. Um, I will state the obvious. You know, most people are going to be seeing this after the Kickstarter for Welcome to the Void. I'm sure he'll have a store set up to where you can get it afterwards. I'm sure that's like, you know, once he fulfills the Kickstarter. So it might be a little while, but you never know. I don't totally, you know, I've been meaning to do a hangout with Chuck and another writer friend of ours, Jason. They are both, by the way, moderators on my Facebook group, creator owned, to which that's one of my proud babies. It's like I wanna help fellow creators get more exposure. Um, and I figured that, you know, my investment of time into keeping that group going and growing and um, even at the most basic is worth it. If it gets more eyes on people's creation, then totally. Uh. So if you're watching this and wondering, man, why is the picture so crappy or uh trust me, I know the level of which it's at. And I know I need better lighting. I don't think my camera is bad. It's kind of like my Kindle. My Kindle um, takes pictures, and if you're outside, they're amazing. Or if you're inside and you have a ton of light, they're amazing. But if you have just a little, not enough light, it kind of winds up being extremely grainy. And I know just looking at the picture myself, it's like it's not bad. It's 100 times better than it was at other times. Um, but it is a little dark, and I know, like, streaming wise, my internet provider is actually not so great. So I will be working on all things to improve your watching experience or listening experience in case I'm freaking dropping out. I know I streamed. I guess I streamed on YouTube just for myself, testing something out the other day, and I noticed my voice dropped out a couple of times, and it's like, well, I completely missed what I was saying. Like if I didn't know what I just said, I wouldn't understand what I'm saying in the video. So I'll be working on improving that. Although it might take me moving out of here first. So yeah, it's going to be a total work in progress to see what comes first, chicken or the egg. Better videos or better art or better jokes. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. So let's see. I guess I'm coming up on an hour. Man, I like this. This is good. It's always good to surprise yourself about about the quality of your work. I want to get back to the level of production to where I can look back and go, "Holy cow! Did I just do all that work?" And part of it is being in the flow, and like creatively. That always helps me tremendously. But part of it is having that kind of workload. And the whole point of my 100 days of making comics has comics coming up is that I'm going to have that kind of workload. So, so I think people will be seeing a level of work from me that I haven't done in years. Um, that's just like one of my goals. And like I said, I was talking about before, level of quality. It's like I really want to get it up again. I feel like I've fallen back a little, but I've been doing this for decades, and that happens even to the best of artists out there. But I don't think I'm past my prime, so I want to give like the best of them. So I got a couple of people watching. Um, is one name I won't Tuop. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. And Keeman. Um, I don't know if it's you two or two new people. It's impossible to say. Uh, but yeah, I freaking love that. I like that, and that looks like Carl Bowlers. I want to say. Um, was talking about the fray before, and well, that's what it looks like at the moment. I'm gonna go in and do a bunch of feathering, so it's gonna look less uh, less like that. But like I said, I'm going to next step. Now that I get sort of the foundation of him, his hands, I'm gonna erase a bunch so I don't see double and triple lines, and really go in with a pencil and figure out where I want to throw feathering, what's best. I mean, I know, I know my light sources don't always have the same direction, but looks good. That's my excuse. It looks good. You know what? I will check on. Oh, hey, Ed's in the chat. New people. I like new people. Oh, 103 seconds to go on Welcome to the Void, issue one, Into the Void. Looks like it really hasn't moved since an hour ago, but as long as all the money that's there comes in, I'm sure Chuck will be excited. And yeah, the reason I mention all that is because this is a pinup for him to use for his comic project, whether that's part of this campaign or his next issue. That's totally whatever he wants to do. It's all up to him. I was excited. My friend had a Kickstarter, and I wanted to do a piece. What about you, Ed? You doing any Kickstarters coming out? I would love to do a piece for you, and I would love to ink you. Speaking of which, and there's my air conditioner. Let's see. It's great to have new people. Kickstarters don't really work for me. It seems to be the new trend is Indiegogo. People making better money over there, but it's the same. If you mean it doesn't work for you because it's a hell of a lot of work, I can understand. You know, I plan to do a little bit of everything, and I'm either I might. Well, I've been wanting to do a Kickstarter for years, so I am going to do a Kickstarter. I don't know exactly when. Be one of my projects, but I want to crowdfund using a little bit of everything. Right now, I have a Patreon, which everybody can go to. I'm pretty much Peter Palmiotti on everything. So if you go to patreon.com/Peter Palmiotti, you can find my page there. I'm going to focus my efforts on Neon Eden, which is like a newspaper strip comic that I guess I'm going to be doing fully everything on that. I started it years ago. I had a co-writer, sort of dropped off doing it because I had to make money for a living, but I will be getting back to that shortly. So I could do some new pages, have lots of fun. Yeah, I mean, I grew up on newspaper comic strips, and it wasn't all just funnies. Um, I remember reading. Well, my favorite was Gil Kane's Starhawks, I believe it was. Um, love Gil's work. That was a lot of fun. That was sort of like, Star Wars space opera. Lots of spaceships and whatnot. People in uniforms. Battles, guns, all that jazz. But there was a time I read Spider-Man. Dick Tracy was a favorite of mine. There's a bunch of them. So let's see. I think I'm where I wanted to be. Yes. Okay. So let me show you everything. That's the bottom, and that's the top. And most of the background is going to be filled with black space sky with lots of stars. Do some white sort of effects here and there. But I want to focus on getting him totally finished off. But I think for this video, I'm going to leave him here. What I might do is just scan him, because I have some pencil lines that I like the direction they're going in, and I might decide that is what I'm going to do. But yeah, I want to get him pretty perfect. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, space with bizarro objects is going to be easy. Like I said, I'll probably do an edited video for part three of this so you can see the quick process of that without sitting through 5 hours of me filling in black or whatever it will take. But yeah, I guess I'll leave it here. Thank you everybody who has come by for the chat. Totally appreciate it. I didn't really broadcast that I was doing this. I just kind of started doing this. Yeah, and thank you on behalf of my friend Chuck to everybody who contributed to his Kickstarter. I will be back again shortly, in a day or two at most. Working on more stuff. All right, love y'all. Take care. Bye.